On this week's episode, I want to talk about 3 event mindsets that can create major growth in your business. Now, those of you that are becoming strategic networkers, my guess is you've sponsored some people, you have a team that's growing, and you want to begin to develop event mindset. So let me give you 3 of them today. Here's a big one that changed the way I thought about how I'd structure my events. And an event, by definition, in this world today, could mean just about anything where you're pulling people together. It could be a Facebook Live. It could be a hotel event. It could be at your home. It could be a Zoom. It could be a conference call. We could go down the list and talk about events, but anytime you're organizing people for the sole purpose of communicating a single message or a bunch of messages to them, that's an event. Here's what we got to remember when we're stepping into events, and think about this as we're structuring what we're going to do, how we're going to do it. Here it is. Here's one of them. People won't remember what they hear, but they will remember 100% of what they feel. So when we're trying to convey something technical or trying to teach the how-tos, we have to realize that the personal touch here, the feeling, the stories, the relatability factor that's involved in our events is more important. Now again, it's a tough phrase because when I say more important, it almost sounds like I don't care about the how-tos. I absolutely care about the how-tos. But my guess is if they don't feel something at the event, they'll never take action on the how-tos and learn how to do them, which is really the only way to learn how to do it. So we want to create that feeling through our event mindset. And let's go to number 2. I want to teach you on an event mindset here, and that is something like this. Think in terms of 50. Think in terms of 50. And here's what I've learned through the years. Any individual influencer, any leader, can pretty much be responsible for 40, maybe 50 people that they could have influence over. For example, if you were having an event online or offline next month, you might have enough influence or enough time to personally connect with and influence 50 people to come to that event. But if you want to grow to groups of 250, you've got to think in terms of 50, meaning you're never going to get 250 people to come, but what you could do is help influence 5 of your top leaders to each pull 50. Now you have influenced, in essence, 250 people to attend an event. And I know leaders often take credit for the numbers as if they did it all. No, truthfully, to get numbers to an event, you're working through people and you're developing your leadership skills. Same goes for if you ever want to put 1,250 people on a webinar or an event. Who are the top 4 or 5 people on your team, in your organization, in your inner circle that can influence 250 people by narrowing down their top 5 each that are going to gather 50? And if they don't have 5 that'll gather 50, then maybe they're just one of the individuals that their goal is focused on 50. I mean, it might be that who are there 4 or 5 that can bring 10 to get to that number 50, so then they can take their business to that 250, then to the 1250. But we think in terms of 50. I see leaders all the time trying to figure out how am I going to get 100 people, how am I going to get 200, instead of working with the 3 or 4 strategically, becoming a strategic networker and helping grow to those events online or offline. Here's a 3rd mindset I want to give you on this week's episode about event growth. And that is, how can you involve people early and during the promotion of that event and in the participation of the event? Now again, they need to qualify to participate and to be a part of maybe speaking at that event or in charge of something at an event. You just don't want anybody, or you don't want to do it just to make somebody feel good. They need to earn some leadership role here. But how can you include, if you know you're having a few hundred people come to an event or even 50 people come, how can you include the 4 or 5 top influencers in the discussion, in the planning? I mean, we're not talking hours and hours of stuff here, but how can you include them in saying something, being a part of something early on in the process so that they will want to promote, so that they'll want to use their influence, so that they feel like they're part of something big? And in our event mindset, if we want to have successful events, it's going to be a team effort. And those events that aren't successful, I bet you can look back and you can see the absence of a team effort. So with that, embrace these 3 mindsets and take your events and your business to a whole nother level.